So before we leave Agate Village, there's something very, very important we need to take care of. We need to go back and speak to Egan again, now that we know the secret of Celebi. Which sounds like the title of a Pokemon movie or episode, but anyway. We need to go back and talk to Egan and avoid you like the plague. Yeah, let's just go away. Yeah, I like how these NPCs change their dialogue to react to recent events, but what we're concerned with is, not the kitchen, we're concerned with here. Yep, they finally found the small tablet, which is important enough to be all capitalized. So, what is on this small tablet? Let's find out. Well, I guess that kind of rules out them being those two particular people from the anime. But anyway, we got the small tablet. Gasp! There are words carved into it! We read the words! I love how it actually just has to say that you read the words. It's just like, well, of course you do, they're words. We can read! Anyway, so, a heart imprisoned by shadows. Its last door shall be opened by the power within. That sounds like exactly what we need. So, we need to do a bit of an experiment here. Also, hi Pikachu. I wonder if I check out the news. I probably don't. Ah! Email? That's the first time we've got an email. And that's the first time we're seeing my, my ringtone that I said at the very beginning of the playthrough. But yeah, we got G-King's number earlier, so he's actually emailed us. Emergency! Well, we already kinda knew that, because that guy from before said that his superior was at Mount Battle, so we would have been heading there anyway, but I guess now we have double confirmation that we need to head there? Well, I guess she knows what Mount Battle is. I mean, considering that the protagonist is from this region, he probably knows what Mount Battle is anyway. Oh, you don't know where Mount Battle is, okay. So it's to the northeast. We now have a location. But there's one thing that I would highly suggest that you do before going there, and that is to conduct that experiment that I was talking about before. Also, there was an iron file there that we missed because we were teleported out by a cutscene. So let's go and actually get that. So let's head all the way to the Relic Stone and get used to going all the way over there because we're going to need to do this quite a lot. So, yeah. I'm going to be cutting out a very large amount of this video because a lot of it just consists of walking back and forth. But, if we... Okay, well first let's get the iron file. Didn't even see it there. Iron file C. What's this one relating to? Celebi's power. Okay then. This must have been what prompted that guy to try and get Celebi. Okay, then we could kind of figure that for ourselves. Well, that's a good thing to know. And it's a good thing we stopped this thing being destroyed, because it's that important. Also, hi there, what are you doing? Yeah, we'll worry about that later. Also, the music here is great. Vander? One-Eyed Zex Vander? Or Mueller Vander? Actually, it's a different Vander entirely. But, if we have a Pokemon that has its heart gauge full, the Relic Stone will glow. Let's see what happens if we show our first Shadow Pokemon ever to it. Makuhita is no longer a Shadow Pokemon, and thus its forgotten Shadow Rush and regained the move Foresight, and regained a lot of experience points, though weirdly enough, not enough for it to level up. It also gets a ribbon, and we now officially are allowed to nickname it. I decided not to for some reason. But yeah, Makuhita is now purified. It's no longer a Shadow Pokemon, it can gain experience and evolve as an all Pokemon would, and this is weird. Normally in my playthroughs I use Makuhita enough that it immediately levels up upon Purification, but it didn't here. Naive nature is not that great for a Makuhita, but oh well. Anyway, the one that I'm really concerned with is a Pokemon that I was using a lot more earlier on, Croconaw. Let's get you purified. You'll probably regain a lot more experience. So yeah, this is the final lock that you need to purify Shadow Pokemon. And we've now regained the move Rain Dance. And that was enough experience to level up, and because Croconaw normally evolves at level 30, and it was already level 30, and it's now gained 1 level, it's time to see the first ever 3D evolution animation in the series. I probably should have stopped talking, because this remix of the evolution theme is great. I forgot how good this song was. So, Croconaw has evolved into Feraligatr. Now, if you had Quilava earlier, it doesn't evolve until level 36, so it probably won't evolve immediately on Purification. But Feraligatr also got a ribbon. I don't think I end up nicknaming this Feraligatr, which is kind of a shame. I kind of wish I did. I end up using him for a little while longer. I just couldn't really think of a good name. So, I now have a Feraligatr, not just a Croconaw. And it's got some fairly good stats for this point in the game, mainly an attack, which isn't going to be useful because you don't know any physical moves at this point. Yeah, stupid physical split. It was just really annoying back in Gen 3. But I believe Skiploom is also ready to be purified, and so I think is Makuhita, so Meditite also is ready to be purified. So yeah, this part is going to be mostly focused on just showing a bunch of purifications. Now that Skiploom is done, and I think you evolve at, like, level... Synthesis is a great move to be regaining, though. I think it's like 27 or something, so if you level up, you might be ready to evolve. You didn't gain enough experience points to. I guess I could talk about that ribbon for a second. I don't know if I ever show it off, but that ribbon's description says, ribbon awarded for clearing all difficulties. It seems like a very weird description to have for a ribbon that's received for being purified, but it turns out... Yeah, in the end I couldn't come with a good nickname. But anyway, that ribbon... It's actually an unused ribbon from Ruby and Sapphire that's been repurposed for this game. They're actually a huge... Oh, that is annoying. That's really annoying. You're just barely off evolving into Jumpluff, I'm pretty sure. Ugh. But, yeah. There are a lot of unused ribbons in the data of Ruby and Sapphire that they just never really use for anything. There's a lot of them that seem to be indicative of potentially unused battle facilities. Especially that one that says ribbon awarded for clearing all difficulties. So, they kind of repurposed that to use as the Shadow Pokemon ribbon here, because it's not like they were going to use it for anything else. There are actually a lot of ribbons that were awarded for real-life tournaments as well, which I didn't realize. That's kind of cool. Pokemon that have those ribbons are probably pretty valuable these days. But anyway, Meditite has now been purified, regained the move Detect, which isn't a bad move, and regained a pretty nice amount of experience. Unfortunately, that's not quite enough to evolve. Yeah, you need to be level 37, I think, so... It's going to be a little while off. However, I believe I did come up with a good nickname for Meditite. Meditite shall be forever known as the legend that is Grandmaster Kickface. If you get that reference, yeah. That is a reference to something. But yes, Meditite shall now be known as Grandmaster Kickface. And he shall kick faces for the rest of this game, as he shall be a mainstay in my party. I hadn't actually used a Meditite before this point, but yeah. So that attack stat, so 34 might not be that impressive, but that is actually 68. Which is actually still not all that impressive, seeing as I have a Pokemon that has over 80 attack, but when it evolves into Medicham, it'll be a lot more impressive. I still don't know why I haven't given FSP on the Twisted Spoon either. So, that batch of Shadow Pokemon is done. Now I need to withdraw some more from the PC and purify them. I will probably be cutting out a lot from this point, because some of the Pokemon that didn't quite have their heart gauges full, I ended up having to just run around a little bit just to finish off that tiny bit of the gauge that was remaining. So, lots that I need to cut out here, and yeah, it was kind of annoying to recall this at the time. But let's see, none of these other Pokemon are anywhere near close to being purified, I think, so let's go ahead and check the ones here. I will be using some of these newly purified Pokemon soon, don't worry, but for now, I just want to purify a few more that I can at this point while we're here. Because, yeah, we will be going back to Agate Village a lot in the future. Thanks to it being the one location we can purify Shadow Pokemon at. Okay, I think I finally show what's through here. This is another thing that's quite easy to miss. If we go around this path, underneath these waterfalls, past these roots, we have an item here, and we get one quick claw. I don't like this item for two reasons. One, it's a horrible, cheap, luck-based item that the AI in battle facilities loves to troll you with by activating it multiple times in a row. I have seen them activate it 5 times in a row before. Also, Mantine is just barely... Okay, there we go, Mantine is finally finished. Yeah, Mantine was extremely close earlier. But the second reason is, if you've watched Marrowland's Nuzlocke playthroughs, you'll know that the Quick Claw is cursed and evil. But anyway, what's not cursed and evil is this thing, which makes Pokemon uncursed and evil. Let's purify some more Pokemon. We've got 4 more that are ready, so Quagsire. Not enough. Well, actually... And next up on our list, we have... Yanma. Starting to sound like a game show host here. It's like, come on down! You're the next contestant on the Purification show! I love how Yanma just is flying around, so the big sort of Purification explosion is kind of not centered to it most of the time. But anyway, Yanma has opened the door to its heart. Yay! Yanma regained... Oh, Detect is not bad, especially if you have Speed Boost. This is kind of an issue with me rotating out a lot of Pokemon, is that many of them haven't regained enough experience to level up. But now it's Furret's turn! Furret regained the move Iron Tail Pikachu. Iron Tail, not that great of a move in this generation, when fairies don't exist. It's generally used only on Pokemon that really have no other choice, but Mantine might not be a bad Pokemon to purify. Mantine has actually served me pretty well so far. So, will you be regaining enough experience to level up? Let's see. Wing Attack is not going to be doing very much. That's definitely enough. Oh, I guess I used you in Mirror B's battle, so you would be getting a lot of experience. So Mantine also gained a ribbon, so that's 4 more down. Yep, 4 more down. An unknown number to go. So yeah, it feels good to see a full team with no traces of purple anywhere. So I have 3 Pokemon here that are almost done being purified, but not quite. And unfortunately, there was really only one solution to this. Walking. So I just walked around like this to try and finish off their tiny bit of heart gauge left. Let's run in circles around Misty Jr. So yeah, I'll be cutting this quickly, but I just wanted to show a bit of this just to give you an idea of what I ended up going through. The things I do for purification. Whee! Okay, I think at this point I actually just decided to outright purify Knockdown Slugma. Flaffy is not quite ready yet, but I might need to spin in circles a little bit more to get her gauge fully filled. I'm pretty sure Flaffy was a she. So, Knockdown's been purified and regains a move that's not great, Steel Wing. Oh, hey, that was enough to level up, though. Now, I doubt Slugma will gain enough to level up, but I'm not sure. Kind of weird that I'm purifying Slugma before Flaffy, but I guess that's how it goes. And like many fire types, Slugma regains Sunny Day on Purification. Oh hey, that actually was enough to level up. Slugma's still not that great though. And it doesn't evolve into Magcargo for a while, so... That is definitely a problem. And even Magcargo is not that great. Yeah, Slugma is really not the best of all the Shadow Pokemon you get in this game. Flaffy still has a little bit to go, and you know what that means. Spinning time! There we go, you're ready. Okay, finally. You were more trouble than I expected, but you'll probably be worth it. I hope you end up getting enough experience to evolve. Please do so, because Ampharos is actually pretty great. It's just still funny how the Marip line just becomes less and less sheep-like as it evolves. But yeah, Thunderbolt, definitely a great move to regain. Ah, not enough. I would have really liked an Ampharos, but oh well. So with that, let's see how close you were. Fairly close. But yeah, Thundershock, definitely way worse than Thunderbolt, though both of them ironically have the exact same contest effect. But anyway, now that we've purified all of those Pokemon, that should be everything we need to do here in Agate Village. Of course, there are a few more Shadow Pokemon we have that aren't purified yet. Those I might have to grind for purification on off-camera, but very soon we'll be getting an area that makes this quite, well, not exactly easy, but it's a place that I like to grind heart gauges on, so yeah. For now, though, let's go ahead and put our newly purified Pokemon in the PC and sort out our team going into the next area, because this next area has a pretty significant fight. I was alluding to it before when I said that it's got one that has a really, really hard to snag Shadow Pokemon, so you want to make sure you definitely have some sleep users. Preferably Knockdown, as Skiploom will be at a major disadvantage against this next Shadow Pokemon. Slugma I'm definitely not going to bring. In fact, Slugma will be at a horrifying disadvantage in the next fight anyway, so that's probably a good thing that I'm not bringing you. For now, we have a few more Shadow Pokemon that we probably need to purify a little bit. So you'll see that on the save screen it actually lists purified Pokemon now. Between Agate Village and Mount Battle, I did a bit of grinding and going back to do some optional Colosseum battles. Since a few significant changes for my team happened during this time, I'm going to show these as actual parts, instead of leaving them off screen. If you want to skip over these, that's fine. I've in fact numbered them differently to the rest of the parts just for that purpose. But if you're still watching by this point, you're clearly still interested, so let's go. While I was training against Pyrite Town rematches, Makuhita and Flaffy both evolved. Another quick thing to mention is that if you rematch a trainer who used to have a Shadow Pokemon, they'll have replaced it with another similar Pokemon to the one they lost. But if you failed to snag their Shadow Pokemon the first time, they'll still have it in the rematch. Okay, you only saw it for a split second, but that's actually really cool. Pyrite Town's description changes after you've beaten Mirror B. But anyway, we're back in Phenac City. And it's not to battle Justy. Justy's levels are in the low 40s, which is still definitely beyond us. But there is one thing we can do here. Phenac Stadium is now open. Actually, it has been open since the beginning of the game. However, they don't allow Shadow Pokemon. Now that we're finally able to have a full team of 6 purified Pokemon, we can actually compete in the Phenac Stadium. So, let's go ahead and enter a match. Well, I will once I get my team in order. Okay, now I'm ready to enter the challenge. So, well, you'll probably see my team in a little bit. So, basically, we fight some battles and we win a TM. It's kind of cool how we actually have to walk into the stadium doors ourselves. But we've already seen Phenac Stadium in the brief intro to battle mode that I showed at the beginning of this series. But here it is during the actual main story. Of course, every stadium that you see during the main story is also playable in battle mode, both in multiplayer and in the kind of Stadium 3/4 single-player mode. So it's time to fight our first challenger, Flitz. Like I said before, Shadow Pokemon are banned from participating in Phenac Stadium, so you can't actually go here until you've... I was kind of shocked at the very bad Pokemon at kind of high levels here. But yeah, until you've purified a full team of 6 Pokemon. I said before that Justy's levels are in the low 40s, and these trainers are too. The problem is that Justy is a lot tougher than these trainers. He uses a lot better Pokemon and much more annoying tactics, so... These battles, I feel like you can comfortably take them on, even being 10 levels lower than them. Oh hey, Skiploom leveled up. That's probably going to cause you to evolve. Ah, if only this was super effective, but alas, you have not become a water type yet. Yeah, Azurill is still a very weird Pokemon. I'm pretty sure it still has huge power though, so I wonder if it's used in Little Cup for that, although doubling an attack stat wouldn't really have much of an impact when your attack stat's are that low. Maybe it does. I seem to vaguely remember it being used in Little Cup at one point. I mean, I know that Meta-type was banned from Little Cup because of pure power, so... Doubling an attack stat that low probably is significant. Well, that trainer was easy. Next! There's a little bit of lag there before the victory theme kicked in. I like how you can see flags with all the Pokeballs on them. Like, there was a Great Ball there and a Master Ball. But anyway, Skiploom is evolving, which means we're about to get massive speed. A very, very fast sleep inducer, which is going to be great going forward. Also, despite being a fully evolved Pokemon, Jumpluff is tiny in this game, which is pretty amusing. Anyway, it's time to go to the second fight. Speaking of Jumpluff, a story that I can recount from my childhood, back when I first played Pokemon Gold, I didn't know Jumpluff existed until I battled Erica in Kanto. That's a kind of a cool starting pose there. Basically, I thought the evolution line ended at Skiploom, and then I fought Erica and she sent out a Jumpluff, and I was like, what? This exists? Okay. Never really bothered to train one, and you don't see any other trainer use a Jumpluff until Erica, so, like I said, I had no idea it existed until then. I also didn't know that Flaffy evolved into Ampharos. Because, again, I didn't even know Ampharos existed. I don't think there are any trainers that use Ampharos for a long time, but, like, basically, I didn't even put together that a sheep would evolve into something that looks decidedly not sheep-like. And also, you know, you might be wondering, what about Amphi, you know, the NPC Ampharos in the Lighthouse? I thought that Amphi was a Don fan. Don't ask why, but I did. So anyway, that's another weird story from my childhood, but... Again, you can't really blame me for thinking that the evolution line ended with Flaffy, because the last form just doesn't look anywhere near as sheep-like as the others. It's kind of weird how a sheep eventually becomes a I don't even know what Ampharos is. I mean, given that its Japanese name is Denryu, it's probably supposed to be some kind of dragon. Oh no. That's the downside of high jump kick. Yeah. Kickface unfortunately ended up kicking himself in the face there. Why did I send out Slugma against a Tentacle? I'm an idiot. Yeah, past me made some... Oh, maybe I was trying to weaken it with Sunny Day. And set up for Jumpluff's Chlorophyll. I'm just missing all over the place, aren't I? But I don't really need it. Jumpluff's already naturally faster than everything here, and that hurts too. Well, who knows? This Tentacle might not even have any water moves. Slugma is just being really slow and not even getting out its move at all until the end of the turn. But there's the Sunny Day. Guess that's the first time we're seeing weather in this game. So we'll have to get used to seeing this weather animation at the end of every turn. Thankfully, it doesn't use up that much time. What am I... I'm dumb. Why am I keeping Slugma in? Yeah, I suppose at this point I can take some time too, since this is kind of like the, I don't know, intermission part. Also, this is going to heal a lot more because it's sunny. I can talk a little bit about thoughts on... that was not even a crit. Wow, Slugma is terrible. Well, I mean, this thing is 10 levels higher than it, so that's probably... But, yeah, they didn't even need water attacks. That should tell you how bad Slugma is. Poor Slugma. We'll be getting a much better fire type soon, but for now we're stuck with that. That's, yeah, part of why I probably do recommend Quilava the most out of those 3 starters, because strong fire types are hard to find, and as good as Croconaw is, you get a lot of good water types. Yeah, this is what I should have done from the beginning. Just had Espeon come in and use Confusion. I mean, I guess I got to demo... Really? Wow. At least this isn't a Shadow Pokemon. But yeah, what I was saying, like, thoughts on this so far. This has been kind of an interesting experience, doing post-commentary on past footage. It's actually kind of enjoyable for me. And it's also a bit less work. Well, actually, it's usually a bit less work. I don't have to record any videos, but the issue is that actually syncing them up in my editor, syncing my post-commentary with the video, is surprisingly difficult. Even though I do 3, 2, 1, go before I start recording, sometimes I don't know whether I start the video on go, whether I hit the play button midway through saying go, whether I hit it right after go. It's kind of annoying, but I think I figured out a method to sort of, I hope the sync has been alright. And it helps to say the 1, 2, 3 at Pokeball Shakes. That helps me sync it too. But anyway, I've noticed also that the footage for these has been a little bit blurry. The annoying thing is that the actual videos, like raw videos that I had originally, aren't... Well, they are compatible with my editor, but they cause the audio to go really, really, really awful. Okay, finally you hit with that. It's really annoying. If it weren't for that issue, I would easily just use the original video files, but no, I actually have to convert them using a video converter into MP4 format before my editor will actually not be terrible with them. I should probably get a new editor at this point, but I just don't really want to have to start loading a new one. That'd just, especially in the middle of a series. So, I've noticed that nobody has really commented on how blurry the footage is in these videos, which I'll take as a good sign. I guess people are okay with it. You might also notice that sometimes videos will have black bars on the sides and be smaller, and other times they won't. That's because I have 2 converters. One of them... Okay, so for some reason, my first converter will arbitrarily decide to fail for random videos that I had in my original recordings of this game. There's nothing different about the files whatsoever, just that certain files decide to arbitrarily fail with this converter. I don't know why, but that's just the case with me, my luck. But, anyway, I suppose I shouldn't really be blaming it on that, but still, it's just really frustrating. So I have a second converter that I downloaded for free that I can use, but it also makes the videos have those black bars on the side. So sometimes that's why you might see a mix of that. I don't think I've battled any of these people yet. I think this is a triathlete? Is this a triathlete or a jogger? Athlete, okay, just minus the tri part. And Adele isn't actually a completely dumb name. But anyway, apart from the footage, it's been kind of funny commentating on past me's decisions. I had a lot of moments of brilliance, but also a lot of moments of stupidity, like that moment with Tentacle earlier. Yeah, that wasn't exactly my finest moment. This music is still great. Showing this optional stuff means that we get to hear this song more, at least. But yeah, overall, I have been kind of enjoying this. I also just realized, though, that since, as of now, I haven't actually recorded the post-game, when I do get around to doing the post-game, I'm going to have to finally start recording live again, so that'll be an interesting switch, and you might suddenly see an increase in video quality. Wow, Kickface is really not having a good day here. Yeah, the problem with Jump Bluff is that it's very... No, don't do that, me. Thank you. High Jump Kick the Pineco. No, High Jump Kick will probably do more than confusion. Negatrain the Psyduck, because that's one of the few things that Jump Bluff will do semi-passable damage to. Yeah, Jump Bluff is very, very weak. It's more of a support Pokemon, but it does its job as a supporter quite well. Please don't miss again. Really? Wow! Twice in one Colosseum bout. That's absolutely amazing, and that's a 90% hit rate too. Kickface is not doing well here. Secret Power, that's pretty weird. I mean, Secret Power was one of the few renewable TMs you could get in Gen 3, so it's kind of understandable to see it on a lot of things, but still. I've also forgotten what the effect for Secret Power is in Phenac Stadium, because I guess I was sending Psyduck in... Not Psyduck. I was thinking of saying I shouldn't have sent this thing in against Psyduck, that's why the name Psyduck popped into my head, but no. Slugma because it's the lowest level out of my Pokemon, but I mean, I doubt I'm really going to end up using it. I think maybe past me thought that I could have got it up to level 38 and evolved it, but that ended up being not the case at all. Like I said much earlier in this game, an issue with all the battles in this game being doubles is that you will always have, at the very least, very most, halved experience. Ugh, Slugma is bad. I mean, again, I know that it's 10 levels lower than these things, but still, it's just, Well, hopefully I'll be able to actually get a Flamethrower in. I mean, it might be a good opportunity for Slugma to prove itself, but, and it's a good thing this Pineco has gone to sleep. I don't think in this generation Pokemon can wake up immediately on falling asleep. I think they can wake up in one turn, but... Because the way sleep works, at least in this generation, is that the moment that a Pokemon falls asleep, the game has already calculated the number of turns that it'll be asleep for. So there's no way that'll ever change, and if they switch out, the game remembers. I remember in Gen 4, they changed it so that the sleep turns reset if a Pokemon switches out, and that actually made sleep quite overpowered originally, especially since they buffed Hypnosis up to 70% accuracy, and then buffed it back, well, debuffed it back down to 60% in Platinum because they realized that was a terrible idea. One of the very rare cases of a move being both nerfed and buffed within the same generation. So we have a cool trainer here. This was before they were called Ace Trainers. I actually like the term Ace Trainer because in Japanese they've always been called Elite Trainers. So, Cool Trainer, I don't know what made them come up with that. Maybe they just couldn't fit Elite or... Oh hey, it's a Mudkip. That's cool. There is a gimmick to these final battles in Phenac Stadium, but as you can tell, Phenac Stadium is very, very easy. You can definitely take it on at this point, even if you're 10 levels lower than all of them. So I'd highly recommend actually doing it at this point in the game. It's not good experience, but at least it gives you some good TMs, and like I said, it's easy enough to take on even with Pokemon this low levels, because the opponents are just so weak for the most part. But hey, seeing a Mudkip is pretty cool. Kinda wish you got the Shadow Hoenn starters, but you don't. Oh look, it's Astonish. Great move. Amazing move. Maybe that will get one day buffed to a huge amount of power in a later gen, just like Leech Life did. If you told past me that Leech Life would one day be an 80 power move, he would not believe you at all. You know, I'd hazard a guess that I'd be doing more damage with a high jump kick to Mudkip than I would with Mega Drain. But I probably shouldn't risk high jump kick with how unlucky I've been with it so far. This is one of the few cases where Metatite's Confusion is actually not bad, but Espeon obviously would have done a lot more with Confusion. That's part of why I don't recommend using Metatite to attack with Psychic moves, because you already have Espeon, who's much, much better at that. Cacnea. There's been a lot of Cacneas in this game, which is kind of weird because there's no Shadow Cacnea or Cacturne. Okay, that was close. But hey, Mudkip actually knowing Surf is kind of impressive. I remember that back in Gen 3, there was an interesting thing where all of the lowest... Also, this Colosseum lets you use healing items. Because, yeah, that's kind of cheating, but oh well. Most in-game battle facilities don't let you use items, but also most don't let you gain experience, so the Colosseum ones are kind of unique. But anyway, in Gen 3, the base forms of all of the starters would eventually learn moves their final forms didn't learn. Mudkip got Hydro Pump, Torchic got, I think it's Flamethrower, which I think Blaziken learns by TM anyway, so that was kind of pointless. And Trico got Giga Drain, which was actually pretty useful, because I think there was only one TM of Giga Drain back in Gen 3. Although, admittedly, Giga Drain was kind of useless to Sceptile because you'd already learned Leaf Blade, which was... Leaf Blade was only 70 power in this gen, but it was still a lot better than, well, somewhat better than... Actually, wait, was it 75 power? It was 70 or 75. Still had a high critical hit ratio, though. And hey, you finally hit with High Jump Kick. Shame Cacnea isn't part Dark yet. But yeah, really out of all of those moves, Mudkip's was the only useful one, now that I think about it, because Hydro Pump is a pretty decent move, and Swampert normally wouldn't learn that. Oh hey, rare footage of Sleep Powder actually working on a Grass type. There's a balance change back in Gen 6, I think, to make Grass types immune to Powder moves, which they mainly did for the ease of VGC. It's kind of interesting how, starting with later generations, Game Freak tends to balance Pokemon more with doubles in mind than with singles in mind, because that's what their official tournaments are. Speaking of balance, this is just, I'm kind of going on tangents here, because these fights are, well, they're not really all that interesting, but I kind of wanted to show them anyway, just because, like I said, Jumpluff evolved in this episode, so kind of had to show it. We'll soon have this battle done, and we'll be getting our first TM prize. But one of the, I guess, tangents I could talk about is just one nerf, though, that I really did not understand why they did it, was just how viciously Game Freak nerfed gems going from Gen 5 to Gen 6. So the elemental gems in Gen 5, they gave you a 50% boost to a certain type of move, but were consumed on use. So you basically had a one-use only 50% attack boost. So we get TM18. I'm guessing that's a weather move? Yeah, that's Rain Dance. So there's a theme to the TMs we'll be getting out of the Phoenix Stadium battles. We get Rain Dance out of this one, which admittedly isn't all that useful, since a lot of the good Water-type Shadow Pokemon that you get in this game have Rain Dance anyway. But let's go ahead and continue to fight in Phoenix Stadium. We can now enter round 2. You don't actually get to choose which round that you enter. I think it just cycles through all the 4, and I think once you've won the 4th round, it goes back to the first one. So I'd prefer it if you actually got to choose. But basically, I think there are 4 rounds to each of the optional Colosseums in this game, and everyone has its own unique TM prize, which I think you only ever win once. I forget if you can get multiple of them or not, but I'm guessing not. You get a cash prize, though, and hi, weirdly flailing arms. Not just a star, he's going to become the star. Also Guy. Yeah. This game's brilliant trainer classes. And this game's brilliant trainers, because they're using Igglybuff. Yay, Igglybuff. Well, Kickface is going to level up soon, but I'm pretty sure he won't be evolving, because I think that is level 37. I'm so sorry, Igglybuff. And, you know, this could potentially one-shot Slugma because of how bad it is. Yep, Slugma got one-shotted. Brilliant choice past me for bringing Yeah, I'm really sorry. I'm sorry. If you like Slugma, that's okay. I just find it, like, as far as fire types go in this game specifically, I really don't find it very good. So yeah. Especially since it doesn't evolve until really late, and once it does evolve, then it... Ow! Wow, that Eagly buff, I feel so bad for it. But yeah, it kind of gets worse on evolution because it gains a really, really bad typing. That's kind of funny just how much higher Meta-type special attack is than its attack. So that'll probably change when it evolves. Anyway, let's just quickly finish off this Wingull. And I suppose I should go back to my tangent about gems. So, basically, one time used 50% boost, it was particularly good with acrobatics. I kind of feel like acrobatics shouldn't have worked this way, because technically you still had an item at the start of the turn, but acrobatics doubled in power as if you didn't have an item. And the gem was consumed before the attack was used, so Flying Gem Acrobatics actually did get its power boost from not having an item, and it was pretty insane. So, gems were very, very common in VGC, but for some reason, Game Freak thought they were broken. I mean, that's probably the only explanation, because they just nerfed them so brutally. Not only did they reduce the gem boost to 30% rather than 50%, made it so that Incinerate destroys gems as well as just berries, which would have actually given Incinerate a pretty good use now that I think about it. That scarf is fluttering weirdly. But also, and here's the thing, that makes the decision to nerf the gems so baffling, they made all the gems unobtainable except for normal. And that's been the case in every generation since. It's like, for some reason, Game Freak just really hated those gems. They seemed to think they were broken in VGC, which, to my knowledge, I don't think was really true. I mean, they were decent items, but I didn't think they were game-breakingly overpowered or anything like that. Now, what they did to Dark Void in Gen 7, I'm totally okay with, and what they did to Gale Wings, I'm also okay with. Although it's a bit sad just how badly Talonflame got, because Talonflame was everywhere before, and now it's just basically really, really badly nerfed. Speaking of which, I mean, Psychic Terrain was kind of introduced in nerf priority. The weird thing is, I've never really noticed Psychic Terrain having that much of an effect on priority. In fact, I've even got priority moves past Psychic Terrain sometimes. Really? Wow. 3 times in one part. That's all I have to say to that. But yeah, if you're not touching the ground, you're not affected by Psychic Terrain, so you can get priority moves past it, but it's kind of funny, like, I haven't often seen it nullify any priority moves. I guess it discourages opponents from using priority moves, which kind of has the same effect. Oh yay, Slugma finally gets to use Flamethrower. Well, actually, I get the feeling that Slugma used this earlier, but I mean, the good news is that Flamethrower is a very powerful move, so if Slugma ever actually does get to use Flamethrower, it does hit pretty hard. And that's opponent 2 already down. I misread this guy's name as Belial or Belial at first. Yes, he is not that one. Wait a minute. It's either Tower or Devil Arcana Persona, it changes. Wonder how they get that big orb of water working. Oh look, it's a fun old lady. Have we battled any of these, any old so twirling their cane like that? Oris, okay. Fun old lady Oris, that's still probably my favorite trainer class in this game. Horsey and Snubble. Yeah, the Pokemon selections here are not the best. Slugma is kind of an interesting Pokemon in that, it has a 75% female gender ratio, but its evolved form is a giant bulldog with enormous teeth, which doesn't exactly scream feminine. And before people mention female Machamp, ever since seeing Sakura Origami, I've now realized that yes, female Machamp definitely makes sense. Oh, it'd be pretty awesome if I could KO you through Intimidate, but that just goes to show that probably would have been a 1-hit KO without it. Ow! For just a water gun, that hit pretty hard, but again, there is a big level difference. Snubble's mouth is animated pretty weirdly in this game. I've said before that a lot of the models here in this game are just taken from Stadium and Stadium 2, so a lot of them just have the old N64 animations, but the ones created for Gen 3 Pokemon are totally new. I will say, thankfully, you'll never see it in Colosseum, but Pidgeot's animation is really, really awful. I always hated how Pidgeot looked in XD. I guess Colosseum too, because technically the animation is programmed in, you just never see it during the main storyline. You have to import from Fire Red and Leaf Green to see it. But yeah, it looks pretty bad. Please survive, Espeon. Espeon is really falling behind in level. This is also partly why I wanted to do a grinding session here, because I am very, very underleveled at this point in the game. It's very easy to get underleveled in Colosseum, no doubt thanks to that whole split experience thing from Double Battles. But also the fact that most boss fights in this game have a really, really huge level spike. You're usually, you really are not expected to be completely on par in terms of levels with the boss fights in this game. You'll see just how big some of the jumps are later. Like, they do get very huge. So now we have a female ace, cool trainer. Well, she kind of has a point with calling him shady, but hey, you can't talk about the most awesome Pokemon protagonist of all time like that. Especially not when you're using a love disc. Get better Pokemon, please. Oh yeah, the thing about Hoothoot that I wanted to mention earlier on. So, if you look at Hoothoot's animations very closely, you'll notice that it's switching feet in mid-jump. Just watch it. And this is a cool detail because it's something that's described in its Pokédex entry. It says that Hoothoot actually does have 2 feet, but it constantly switches between them when it's hopping, although I forget the exact reason why. Also, I have no idea who came up with that. That's a very weird concept. But yeah, Hoothoot is actually constantly switching feet here. We won't get to see it here because Surf doesn't need a partner in this generation, and probably goodbye Slugma. Well, not quite goodbye Slugma, unless you target Slugma. Yes, you did. Why did past me decide to bring Slugma to this? I'm so sorry, Slugma. I gave you a chance, but you didn't really do all that well. Probably shouldn't be focusing on leveling up well, okay, I really wanted to get Meditite evolved. It doesn't reach its true power until it evolves, and I wanted to get that as soon as possible. I guess I'll Mega Drain the Love Disc. Also, we're getting a bit of a sneak preview of this song before we hear the real version, and that'll be quite soon. Yeah, see, normally the song segues into another part at this point, but the actual Colosseum version of it is shortened down. Yeah, I need to get a better move on Jumpluff. And also, Hoothoot has a not terrible amount of special defense, so my confusions are not going to be doing all that much. At this point, I really want Psybeam, but I don't think Espeon gets it for a little while longer. And Psybeam is not that much stronger than Confusion. It's only 65 power as opposed to 50. Another Surf. In all of the Stadium games, whenever I see Surf, I always think, everyone who paid for tickets on this side of the stadium, you better have brought raincoats and umbrellas. In the Pokemon universe, they probably have some kind of shielding over the... That was a weird close-up of Hoothoot there. They probably have some kind of shielding over the stadiums, because otherwise things like Earthquake and Explosion and Surf would just be potentially devastating. You have 3 Pokemon, too. Yeah, this is probably going to take one more turn. I wouldn't exactly chalk it up to these things being bulky and more just due to... Okay, well, Hoothoot went down. That's good. But more just due to my moves being weak. That was barely any experience. Oh, okay, I just got 2 lots of experience. I guess I gave Espeon the experience share then. Still don't know why I haven't given it the Twisted Spoon yet, but I kind of wanted Espeon to be getting experience, mainly due to, again, learning better moves. Because this is the point where Confusion is starting to get not all that great. And that barely drained anything, did it? Oh, hey, it's Trico, so yeah, you'll probably have noticed the theme in the final opponents by now. I would have thought you'd target Espeon with that. I think Espeon's weaker. Yeah, Espeon's a lot weaker. I don't actually know if the AI has its use priority moves when they're on low health AI in this generation or not. I mean, they do sometimes, but now that I'm on red health, it might trigger the AI to start using quick attack on Espeon. Okay, finally Love Disc is down. I still wish a Lobomola was the evolved form of Love Disc. Oh wait, no, Kickface has the experience share. What am I thinking? Oh, that's actually a decent amount of stats on Jump Off. Definitely no match for Espeon's special attack and speed, though. Okay, I'm probably going to get quick attacked. Yeah, I'm kind of dumb. Sometimes when I'm doing this post-commentary, I don't really have time to read the text as much because I'm focusing on my thoughts, so if I'd been reading the text more carefully, I would have known that Kickface was actually the one who had the experience share. And thus Trico falls asleep. Now remembering actually for, I think for Christmas one time I got plushes of all three of the Hoenn starters. The base forms. I have a Blaziken as well, which I got for a birthday one time. I forgot how weird Trico's fanning animation was. But it's kind of funny because that's Moment of Truth now. Okay, I guess neither of them has the experience share. But anyway, yeah, they came in a set that also included Pikachu, and my parents knew how much I hated Pikachu, so they actually left the Pikachu out of that set, which is kind of funny. So for that, we get Sunny Day. You can probably tell what the theme is here. And this has gone on for a little while, so I think I might do the next 2 rounds of this Colosseum in the next part. So I'll see you then. Then after that, we finally get on to the main story. I was just checking High Jump Kick's accuracy to make sure that I wasn't completely crazy. So, next time we're doing more of Phenac Stadium. See you then.